Hi guys, we're Team K2 and we programmed Farkle for Engineering 6 final project. I am Jeonhan Kim.
I'm Sunju Lee. I'm Yoon-Seok Han.
I'm Evan Kwan.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
This is our starting screen, and you can choose game mode from here. And we'll first try the offline version. You roll dice, it comes out the random dice, and you can check the dice that it comes out with the score. And if you proceed, it comes out with the point you have, and then when you bank, it goes to your total points. And then next one, the next player will play on the same keyboard, roll dice, and check the score, proceed, and bank. So if there's no point, you can check the box, and you can reroll. And then it comes out with
What?
So it comes out in hot dice, and then you can reroll again. And I'll try it until Farkle. So you cannot check any boxes here. So it comes out with Farkle and then proceed. So it'll say the point goes to 0, and when you bank it, there's no change in the point. So I put 1000 score as a winning score at the starting screen. So when you bank 600, the total points comes out with 1150, which shows that the player 1 win and the player 2 would lose. And then after 20 seconds, that app will automatically delete it.
So next we're gonna play online with 2 computers. First I will select online player 1 and the other player will select online player 2. As you can see, we can then input names for player 1 and player 2. And we can both start game. And then the games will go to a ThinkSpeak channel and we can both play together, because I am player 1, playing will show on mine first simultaneously, and then I'll first roll dice. And then in order to see my roll, the other player can press refresh again, and then they will have the same rolls. After I get the scoring dice, I press proceed to calculate the number of points, and I can bank. Then the number of points will show on mine. Then if the other player presses refresh again, the points will show, and then the roll will show for the other player.
Okay, let's start with the starting screen. So besides the properties over here and the callback functions, our code starts with the ThinkSpeak servers for the 2 different game modes. The first one over here is the offline for 2 players with 1 keyboard, and the other 2 are for the online players. They have different ThinkSpeak servers because they gotta call the different values for each players. Right below, there are functions for the edit field, which is the winning score edit, so that if you choose the winning score, for example for 10K, and then the winning score automatically sets to that one. And then we also made a switch for the music, because the music is always on when the game starts. And then if you tick the button over here with this one, then the music turns off. These are the name edit fields, so you can add up the names for 2 players, both players. And then the drop down functions for the game mode, which is like this. You can just drop down and choose the game mode. And this is the function for the rules button. So if you press the button, it automatically redirects to the web, which is our Google Drive, and it pops up the rules image.
Next, we are going to talk about decoding for the GUI. This is the startup function. At the start of the game, we set the point values of each player to 0. And before the game starts, all buttons are unable to click. Then, because the ThinkSpeak channel is empty right now, we set 0 as the first score entry on the ThinkSpeak channel. Next is the counter, where we show which player is playing first. This means that the player number 1 will show playing first. Then we read the channels where the names were inputted in the starting screen, and we display them accordingly.
For proceed button, code calculates the score based on player's checks. If first die is checked, code compares the image source to the dice images. Then if first dice is equal to die 2, A becomes numeric 1. If second dice is equal to die 2, A becomes numeric 2, and so on. Then the code compares all image sources to dice images. We get the numeric value for A, B, C, D, E, and F. This goes into the array called myRoll. Based on myRoll array, the code calculates how many dice are on myRoll and calculates the score. Finally, we combine all scores to total scores and writes the score on ThinkSpeak channel. Then points text area reads the score written on ThinkSpeak channel. For the hot dice, this code enables to roll the dice again. For bank button, first it writes points on ThinkSpeak channel, then it reads back to player 1 or 2 text area based on player's turns. Then we set all images back on and turn to be on empty dice again. Also, if bank button is pushed, playing goes next to another player's image, which shows whose turn it is. For the winning part, when the score is larger than the winning score which was chosen in starting app, you win or you lose will be shown next to the player image instead of playing. Then app will be deleted after 20 seconds.
Next is the roll dice function. When the roll dice button is pushed, first we check if the checkboxes are unchecked, and then assign a random variable from 1 to 6 random variables, a number from 1 to 6. Then we show a short animation of the rolling dice and then an audio to go with it. After a 1-second pause, we will display an image according to the random number that each variable was assigned. Then we are going to go through a process to check if each is a scoring dice. If it is a scoring dice, the checkbox will be able to be checked in order to score it to your whole total points. If it's not a scoring dice, it will be unable to be checked. Next is the code for each individual checkbox, where if you press it, it will enable it. Check it again, it will show the image as black and white and hold it. This is the code for the music switch. This is the same code as the starting screen app, and we added it into Farkle in order to turn off or on the music.
Okay, so now moving on to the online remote multiplayer part of the game. So most of the game is the same as the local multiplayer. However, there's some changes made so that it can support 2 different people playing online using different computers. So the startup function is basically the same, but here is where things are different. So here we read 2 different ThinkSpeak channel, which gives us the name. Because each player enters the game at different points, so we want to make sure that the names are always updated. So we put the player name display part, which is this part, into the roll dice refresh button. So over here we have a channel that is dedicated to player counter, which every time we push like the bank button, which I will show you later, it will add 1 to the value inside of the channel. And this basically determines whose turn it is. So over here we can see if that is a odd number, then we roll the dice, which means it's player 1's turn. However, we added the else statement over here, which basically displays the opponent's roll when they press refresh when it's not player 1's turn. And then we also added the win-lose part. And then for this app is for player 1. For player 2 we have another app with only parts of it different. So in the refresh roll dice, we just set this so that it will roll the dice at even number instead of odd number, and vice versa. And also just putting the score into the player 2 ThinkSpeak channel.